Most men think procrastination means laziness. That's wrong, completely wrong. Procrastination is emotional, and until you understand that, you'll keep repeating the same cycle over and over again. It'll go from starting and stopping, avoiding, escaping, delaying, and then feeling guilty afterwards. Let me tell you a story. I once knew a man who talked constantly about changing his life. Smart man, capable, big ideas, always researching, always planning, and always about to start. But years passed and nothing changed. Same old excuses, same delays, same unfinished goals. And one day I asked him a simple question. What happens emotionally when it's time to start? After a long pause, he admitted something powerful. He said, when I'm about to start, I feel pressure, not laziness. Pressure, fear, overwhelm, self-doubt. And lastly, fear of failure, fear of judgment, and fear of not being good enough. And suddenly, everything made sense. Because procrastination is usually emotional avoidance, not laziness. Most men are not avoiding the task, they're avoiding the emotion connected to the task. That changes everything. A man says he's procrastinating on starting a business, but really he's avoiding uncertainty. A man says he's procrastinating on going to the gym, but really he's avoiding discomfort and self-judgment. When a man says he's procrastinating on a difficult conversation, he's avoiding emotional tension. This is why motivation alone never fixes procrastination, because the real problem is emotional regulation. And most men are drowning in emotional avoidance. Phones, scrolling, gaming, gambling, pornography, overthinking, and endless content consumption. Constant distractions. Why? Because distraction numbs emotion, at least temporarily. It gives an escape. And that's why procrastination feels good in the moment. You temporarily escape pressure, but afterwards, you feel worse. More guilt, more anxiety, more self-disappointment. And then your self-respect drops. This is important. Every time you repeatedly avoid action, your mind starts losing trust in yourself. Now your identity weakens, your confidence weakens, and now your discipline weakens. Because self-respect is built through action, not intention. And this is why procrastination becomes dangerous over time. It slowly destroys identity. A man starts seeing himself as inconsistent, unreliable, undisciplined, and emotionally weak. And eventually, he stops believing in himself completely. Not because he lacks potential, because he's trained avoidance repeatedly. I want you to listen carefully. The human nervous system always moves towards comfort. That's natural. But growth requires voluntarily discomfort. And most men today have extremely low discomfort tolerance. The moment pressure appears, they escape. The moment anxiety appears, they distract themselves. And the moment uncertainty appears, they delay action. But successful men learn how to move while uncomfortable. And that's the key. Not waiting to feel ready. And let's be honest, most procrastination sounds spiritual and intelligent. I'm still researching. I'm still trying to perfect it. I'm waiting on the right time. I need more clarity. No, most of the time, that's fear wearing professional clothing. Perfectionism is often hidden in fear. Overthinking is often emotional avoidance. And waiting too long creates paralysis. This is why action is therapy for many men. Action interrupts anxiety. Action builds confidence. Action builds identity. And action restores self-trust, not thinking or over-planning. One of the greatest lies men believe is, I'll act when I feel motivated. Wrong. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. And disciplined men understand this deeply. They stop negotiating with emotion. That's one of the biggest shifts. Weak men ask emotion for permission. Strong men move with structure, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's uncertain, and even when they're afraid. And understand this, you do not need massive action to rebuild trust in yourself. You need consistent, small wins no matter what. Very small wins matter because consistency rewires your identity. And that's why a man who keeps tiny promises to himself often becomes stronger than the man chasing huge temporary motivation. Structure beats intensity every time. Now let's get practical. How do you stop procrastinating emotionally? First, reduce the overwhelm. Most men procrastinate because the task feels psychologically huge. Break it down to smaller, tiny actions. Reduce resistance. Second, stop waiting for emotional certainty. You may never feel fully ready. Third, create environmental structure. That means your environment affects your behavior massively. Put the phone away, clear the workspace, schedule time, reduce the distractions. 4, learn emotional awareness. What emotions are you actually avoiding? Fear, shame, failure, judgment, pressure? Identify it honestly. And 5th, train discomfort tolerance daily. Things like working out, difficult conversations, discipline practices, that big task that you know you need to do but you put off. Because discomfort tolerance builds emotional strength. And emotional strength reduces procrastination. Now hear me clearly. You're not lazy. You are emotionally untrained. That's different. And once men understand that, everything changes. Because now the solution is not self-hatred. The solution is not internal control. It's emotional regulation, structure, identity rebuilding, and consistency. This is why Phase 2 exists inside of Phase 3 of my 3-phase rebuild. Because most men don't need more motivation. They need a system to help them operate under the pressure. And that's the difference. And once a man learns emotional control, his discipline changes, his confidence changes, his consistency changes, and his entire identity changes. Because now he stops escaping life and he starts to face it directly. If you're tired of repeating the same cycle of overthinking, avoidance, inconsistency, and self-disappointment, I want you to go over to my website, Self-Transformation 369. I have a 3-phase rebuild system and a lot of other good tools that will absolutely help you. Go over there and look around. Pick what works for you. Until the next video, my name is Mr. Smith. This is Self-Transformation 369. Peace.